last week you hit me up. You said it be the last time you hit me up. I'm reading body language, you speaking that Spanish.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Dkay, and we are back with another episode of Rude Love. And I got a special guest with me today. How you doing?
Hi, I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Good. This is Quinn,
Hi.
everybody. I met Quinn actually at a shoot. It was a networking shoot, right?
Yeah, like a content creation networking kind of thing. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
100%. And my most favorite photos that I got were the ones of you. So
We killed it. Yeah, they look good.
yeah, those were super vibey.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Hell yeah. So what's good with you? Like, what you been up to these days, and what do you do, so people kind of know what's going on?
Sure. Okay, so I came to Vancouver in 2017, and I came here to work in the film industry. So I went to Vancouver Film School. I did a 1-year intensive program, and then I went right into my career in makeup effects. So I've been working in the film industry, which is great. And as it kind of slows down, I've been focusing more on my other creative ambitions, I guess. So I've been a freelance model here. I've been doing that since 2017. However, now I'm kind of taking it to the next step and bringing, what I've learned from the film industry and all of my skill sets and creating my own kind of conglomerate, if you will, of my modeling, my styling, my makeup, my different art projects. I just love art, and so that's kind of why I'm here, because it's a very creative, inspiring place to be, and I need the ocean too. So
right.
Yeah, I love it here. I'll stay here forever, I think.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I was born in Edmonton, grew up in Calgary.
Okay. Were you born at the Royal Alex?
I don't even know. I don't even know. To be honest, my family moved to Calgary when I was super young.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. So I don't remember anything really about Edmonton, but I do like Edmonton. I think the people are dope.
Yep.
I think people from Alberta are definitely way cooler than they are out here, not gonna lie. You can just tell when someone's not from here.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It sucks because Vancouver's so dope,
It's true, but I feel a lot of people that I've met here are from Alberta, and so we have that connection, right? And so I made a lot of good friends here that are from Alberta. Right. And also I want to visit Calgary more often, because I honestly haven't really gotten there to explore the scene of there, but I hear it's really cool. So
yeah, Calgary's kind of it's like Edmonton, but a bit more things to do, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, dope. So you're in the film industry, you're doing your own creative projects. Dope. And so what's next for you?
Gosh. Okay, well, I really want to continue with my freelance modeling. I do that. I have my own freelancing that I do for modeling, and then my fiance, he's also kind of getting into modeling, getting more comfortable with that industry. So I think it would be really cool to apply to an agency together. We have a couple in mind to apply together and do that work through an agency together, while I do my own kind of thing. I keep saying thing because it's not just the modeling, it's also the styling, the whole thing of it, the creative design and direction of it really interests me. So I want to continue to grow that. Color and Sway is my sort of brand that I have going on, and it's dope. Yeah, that's kind of where I showcase my creative endeavors and what I do, because there's a lot of tactile things that I do, and it's kind of hard to explain what I want to create, I guess. I just have so many things going on in my mind, and executing them is my goal, whatever it may be. So I've got different makeup effects stuff, I have different styling things in mind, and just pictures I want to make, and there's just a lot going on that I want to do. And also I have a great relationship that I'm nurturing constantly. So that's another aspect of what I want, is a happy, healthy family of my own. So that's kind of where I bring my creativity into that aspect of my life too.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
It's a big focus for me. Yeah.
Okay, dope. That's dope. That you said you bring creativity into that aspect of your life. What do you, how would you say that creativity relates to the relationship aspect? That's an interesting statement.
Totally. Okay. So my fiance, Peter, he's super great. And I find that you know, in supporting him in his endeavors as well, is creating the life that I want for myself, because we work together as a team.
Right.
But we have completely different interests, you know, we do completely different things. So having a partner who's, you know, so ambitious and like creating his own life path, you know, a big part of my everyday is supporting him. I want to make sure his office looks lit with art. That's important to me, because I need his space to be creative and uplifting and all of that, right? So I guess that's kind of what I mean, is that like I find joy and satisfaction in like supporting both of our lifestyles.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, 100%. That's definitely really dope. Real quick, so like how old are you said?
I'm 27.
Oh, you're 27. Okay,
yeah.
cool. For some reason, I thought you were like way younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. No, that's what's up. So, how long you been engaged then?
Okay, so we got engaged on August 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I don't want to spill too much, but we are eloping.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2024. So.
Nice.
Yeah, we
Okay,
got
well,
some time.
congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And no, I love what you said, and I really respect that, because you know I think that like in a lot of relationships, and I always say this, it's like people tend to kind of, you know, they're dating the person that they're with, but their work life is just kind of separate. Like, oh, you do your thing,
Right.
like I'm gonna do my thing, and I'll see you at home, kind of thing.
Right.
But what you're saying, what you're describing, is very dope, and I definitely aspire, you know, to sort of like manifest that type of situation in my life, because I think that like me just being such a entrepreneurial, like creative, independent artist,
Right.
like my life, my work life consumes my like real life, and it's sometimes, you know, it blurs the lines a lot, right? So it's kind of like the person who I'm with is gonna have to be able to like integrate into that side of like my life super well, and it's so dope to hear that you know, you go out of your way to like make sure that you're, you know, bringing everything that like you have, like all your, you know, positive attributes to help, like, you know, your partner. So that's very dope.
Well, also I have to give him credit for the work that he does to support our relationship as well. So he's a student at UBC. He's taking human geography, and so geography is a concept of like space and place, and you know, the social aspects of that as well. And we're a biracial couple, so that's like something that we've had to navigate. And I have to give him, you know, so much credit for using his skill set and his wanting to learn, and like, you know, introducing what we've talked about and like how life affects us both differently. And he brings that and he puts that into his work too. So, I mean, transformative justice is like his goal in his career, and like the way that he wants to, the path that he kind of wants to take. So I'm kind of involved in like what he's doing as well, just by communicating. Like that's it. Like communicating to each other is what is propelling us both forward, and also giving the space to be creative separately, because as a creative, like you need your, you know, as an artist, I'm sensitive to some stuff, you know, like don't look at my art before I'm finished kind of thing. Right. There's a little bit of that. So there's some space, like, so we've been together since I was 16.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we've been together for 11 years. It's been a really long time. Yeah, and I'm super proud of that. And like we've grown so much together, but because we've been able to give each other the space to grow. Like I came to Vancouver in 2017, so I don't know how many years ago that was, but like kind of in the middle of our
5 years ago.
Something like that. And yeah, I moved out here by myself. So we were apart for an entire year. It was a long distance thing. And he used to be in a band and he would go on tours and stuff like that. So there was like space apart, and that is totally okay with us. Like it's an interesting kind of dynamic that I'm like a lot of people are kind of feel weird about. But it just, yeah, whatever we can do to like help each other propel forward, like it's gonna help ourselves individually as well, if that makes sense, for the collective life that we want in the future, I guess.
No, that's so dope. That's like super dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's dope just because like these days I feel like the dating scene, I mean, it's so funny because, you go to, like, I've been traveling a lot, right? So you go to different cities, and every city you go to, they say, oh, the dating scene here sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I've heard that about Vancouver.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They say that about Vancouver. You go to LA, they say the same thing. You go to like Miami, they say the same thing. So it's kind of just like, yo, it probably is that way everywhere. And I think it has to do with the time that we're in, social media, you know, just the fast pace of life.
Completely.
Inflation is up, everybody's stressing out, you know what I mean? So maybe, you know, I think the fact that probably you guys met when you were younger, do you think that like affects anything as far as maybe like you were fresh in the dating scene, so it didn't give you the chance to like be jaded or anything like that? Because like, I would definitely say that people, you know, they kind of go into situations a little bit more like, I mean, I think I'm guilty of it too, right? Like, I've dated, you know, people like, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely think that I'm a lot harder to crack than I used to be when I was 16. Because I remember when I was 16, I was in a relationship. I got into a relationship and it was like love at first sight type thing. And it was just like the, you know, like the Cupid butterflies is going, like it's the whole thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like, what do you think about that?
I think that's a super good question. That's a really good question. So I think that, okay, I'm thinking of this one particular incident. I felt like such a nerd because I had a girlfriend who was telling me about the dating scene and like how it's a bit hard. And she said that she was on, I think it was called Hinge.
Right.
And I was like, what's Hinge? I have no idea. So I felt like, I felt like such a dweeb, but I feel like, I kind of don't know what it feels like to be jaded. I feel like separate from the conversation, and I feel like it's kind of hard to talk to people about it, because I feel like is anomaly the right word? My relationship might be an anomaly, but I think there is also, I mean, I might get deep for a second. There's also a lot of, you know, like, you know, like past stuff, like abandonment stuff that I went through, and you know, so there's a bit of that, and maybe like a little bit of a connection there as well that we went through, like, because, you know, I'm so close to his family. His family is so beautiful and I love them so much. I've been a part of his family since I was 16 as well. So it's not even just the relationship that I've had with him, it was like the collective life that we've built together.
Right.
Yeah, so so I think that maybe like him as my support system as well throughout, you know, my life, and just somebody that like could understand kind of where I wanted to go and help support me up that way when I didn't have that from my family, you know. That I think that was I think that is a big part of why it's worked so well for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, you know, having, what was the question? Sorry, I feel like I'm going off, but
no, I think you definitely answered it. You know, I think that at the end of the day, like, yeah, no, that was kind of what I was asking. Just like, no, you answered it, so that's what's up.
Cool.
So, would you like? Did you guys have any major, you know, obstacles or hurdles that you had to overcome in order for the relationship to flourish?
I think. I guess so. Like I have to say, obviously, that our relationship is way better now than it was when we were 16. Of course, just because we've grown, we've grown up, and we have communicated like our needs and how to, like, what we need from each other and our support. And so I think there's been hurdles in our lives. Definitely, I'm comfortable saying that I've been sober of alcohol since October 1st, 2021.
Okay,
yeah, and I'm honestly proud to say that I don't know how many days ago that was, because there was a time when I was like counting down the days, right? And so there's been very much like life obstacles and like things that we both had to go through together, and I think that was honestly like, we've already had the representation of like in sickness and in health kind of thing. So yeah. So I feel like yes, we've had the hurdles, but that made me personally like so confident that like marriage is what we want, and like that is how we're kind of set up to go that way.
Right.
Because we decided that that's what was going to happen.
Right.
in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's super, very, very deep, very dope. And, so like, you guys had your separate, individual hurdles, and then as, together also as well. And you were speaking a little bit about that before, as far as like being an interracial couple. So like, what's your background and what's his background?
Sure. So I am biracial. I'm half Jamaican. I'm German, and he's also half Jamaican, and he's Ukrainian. And so we actually have quite a connection when it comes to our, Jamaican heritage, because his family, and they're Ukrainian. I should say, like, they're very aware of where they come from, or more aware of where they come from than I am. So I'm estranged from my family, but they didn't give me really any guidance when it came to like where I come from or whatever. So I kind of have to figure that out on my own. But I've always had like, Jamaican pride, because it was visual, right?
Of course.
So we can connect on that way, in that sense. And of course, the research behind where he's from kind of gave him a little bit of like compassion to what I might be going through. He was also, through his feminist geography studies and all of this stuff, like he is really learning the fact that he has privileges that he's learning to utilize in a way that's effective. Because he said to me like a month ago, he was like, like the person that I care about most in this world is like extremely affected by racism, like inequality and all of this, especially in the film industry. And so we have a lot of conversations about it. And a lot of the time when we travel, it's always something in our mind. It's like not everybody enjoys the fact that we're a biracial couple. It doesn't look right to a lot of people. And so
you're obviously like light skinned.
Yeah.
But is he not visually like light skinned either?
He's white.
Oh, word. But you said he's half Jamaican?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. So
That's dope.
Yeah. So it is an interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
dynamic.
You gotta love white Jamaican people though. That's dope. That's super dope. Have you heard of the homie White Yardie?
No.
Oh, it's a comedian. You gotta check him out.
A comedian?
Yeah.
Okay, I must.
He's super funny, yo. It's super Jamaican, right? As a white dude, so it's just like obviously you don't expect it, right?
Yes.
You would never guess until he opens his mouth, and then you're like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
he's actually like legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like usually pretty shocked about it. Yeah.
No, that's so dope. That's super dope. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys got that aspect. Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it. I get it.
So both of our families are from Kingston.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
so dope. So like, let's say, so he must like really see the difference then, I guess, like, right? Because he's like shares, Black culture, but then he's not visibly like Black, which is a whole like anomaly probably on its own.
Yeah, well, I'm actually, I feel like I want to call him and be like, so what do you actually think of this? But, because I know he has a lot of thoughts about it, but I think like our families, from what I know about my family, like had very different experiences in Jamaica. Right, so I'm like, it's interesting to hear kind of about, when I don't know, it's kind of interesting to hear about their family tree as he kind of is able to study it and like see what's up. I don't know about mine yet.
Right.
So I'm kind of I have a connection to my Jamaican heritage because it's more visual and like people understand it. It's almost like when I say I'm Jamaican, the conversation stops. But when he says he's Jamaican, there's like a lot more to talk about.
Right.
So I'm so excited to learn about mine. I don't know like really where to start, I guess. It's on my mind, but I think that there's also a lot of nuance to it, but it is very shocking, to a lot of people.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. So like, what do you guys? Because last episode I was talking to Cash about interracial like relationships.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were talking about like, hey, dating women outside of our race, it can be like a gift, like it could be a blessing or a curse, and in a lot of ways it's like it's a whole topic, you know what I mean? But for you, I just want to know, like, so what like, what challenges have you had as far as like, I think you said you were traveling, like what, or just going to different places, like how do people receive that relationship? Because I think for me, like whenever I'm out and I have like a, non-black girl with me, I feel like people look at it like, kind of like, oh shit, that's like kind of dope in a way.
Ooh,
right?
Explain it.
Explain that?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I feel like they look like it's like dope because it looks like the typical, like, I don't know, like TV relationship like that you would be thinking about, right? Like let's just say Kim and Kanye, or like, like Kobe Bryant and his wife. Like there's always like this like picture perfect view of like, okay, you got a black like tall man, and then you got like exotic looking like fair skinned woman, right? So I feel like usually that turns heads a lot, like if I'm out with that type of girl. And I've dated like those types of women, right? So I've seen that like over time. But I would definitely say that like, I would say that those girls that I dated, their families were really receptive to me, and just the fact that like, I'm obviously black, but like they accepted me, like who I am.
Right.
So I feel like I'm blessed for that. And I never really had to experience too much pushback or friction in terms of like me coming in and then feeling like, oh, I wasn't maybe accepted or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's just my experience, but I definitely like it turns heads, and I definitely feel like, people are like looking at this, and sometimes I don't want that attention, right? Like I just want to walk down the street or go to the like store or something like that and not have like everybody be looking, or like, you know what I mean? Like, so there is that aspect of it, but I just, I want to know, like, have you, what's your experience with that?
So,
because you're on the opposite side, you're like a black woman with a white man.
Totally.
So that's interesting.
So I think, first of all, I know what you're talking about being very visible. People are looking at you. And I think that's honestly why our modeling career is like, we're able to do that, because it is an interesting thing to look at, and picture perfect, like you say, like that's kind of like the ideal because of Kim and Kanye, of course.
Right.
So I think when we were traveling, we went to San Francisco specifically. People had a problem with it.
Right, I can imagine.
Right, it was really scary.
What?
It was really scary, and like, the people were just like, what I'm thinking about is like the comments of like, because he has money, that's why I'm with him, and like the negative
people said
part.
That to you?
Yeah, people said San Francisco, I don't want to go back. I'm traumatized by it. Like it was really, really bad, specifically this. Like and people like, throwing slurs at him, and like I don't know, it was
That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was nuts. And so I don't know, like I don't want to go back there, but so there's a lot of that. People had problem with, I think maybe it was more of an issue for me to be with a white guy when I was in San Francisco. I think that's kind of
right, they were mad at you.
The consensus about it. Like I kind of like had left where I was supposed to be. I've never been with a black. I've never been with anybody else, so I don't even
crazy
know what the difference is. However, I have had like friends conversations about it, because it's so topical. Like it's very interesting. But again, like I don't know anything else.
Damn.
I guess
That's crazy. No, I could definitely see that in San Fran, because San Fran is like, as much as that's the thing about like the American West and the left, right? Because San Fran, LA, New York, these are like places that are so left, right? But at the same time, I feel like that leftist movement is very hypocritical, and it has a lot of different like oxymorons within it. And that's, it's interesting to say that you would like experience that in San Fran, considering that San Fran is supposed to be like the land of like, especially when it comes to like, gay rights, like, the whole trans like thing, you know what I mean? Like that's like the epicenter of it, I would say.
I think so too, yeah.
Right? You would think that they would be accepting of that. So it's interesting. Like it's interesting, there's a concept that I learned in school, taking sociology. I can't remember the concept exactly, I think it was, I can't remember, but it has to do with like, there's like a intersectionality of like discrimination in the sense that like, you know, there's levels to it, right? And usually it looks like race is like at the bottom level, the hardest one to break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like, it could be like gender, you know, there's like sexual orientation, these things, they're there, but they're not really that bad. And I feel like within races, they still feel like, okay, yeah, I might not agree with you, but you're still like one of us. But when it's like racially, they just do not fuck with it. So, I mean, you know, I think that, you know, they'll have to get used to it eventually.
It's like it is what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, thank you for asking these questions. It's cool to like think about it, you know, and like
Right.
have a time to like sit down and like really explore my mind about these topics. Cool.
Right.
I feel like also part of my relationship it's gotten better and better and better. I would say like we're in the best place that we've ever been in the 11 years that we've been together, and with that came for me, because of my different issues, therapy has been amazing. It's been like I have to recommend it, and I think that's why I'm bringing it up now. I'm like, everybody should be in therapy. Pete just started therapy too, and he's been really enjoying it, and you know, men in therapy is something that I think should be talked about more.
Right.
Yeah. Specifically because it's not talked about enough. That's all.
Right.
Like, yeah, I think it can be really beneficial to relationships because of communication and stuff like that. Learning how to communicate with each other, and like, also that it's not a bad thing. Like, you know, we've been in love for so long, but we've been to a couples therapist just because, honestly, we did it because we got engaged and we were like, that's something we should probably do just to make it better. Why not, you know?
Right.
And so taking those steps and like, you know, learning how to support each other through that way, like through an outside lens, because a lot of the time if you're, you know, we have two separate minds, but our thinking gets in a pattern, right? So to have like an outside influence kind of like look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on, and it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's lovely.
No, that's dope. Like there's in one of my last like serious relationships, there's a point where, you know, we like had the conversation about like going to therapy and shit like that, and it kind of felt like out of like place, but it definitely, we needed to do it, but like the relationship was like too far gone by that point, to be honest. So we never did it. But I definitely think that I needed to, and I probably still do, like need to like see about some therapy, because who knows, like there could be, I feel like I'm the type of person that deals with things like on my own a lot.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person, and I think it works, but I think that there's aspects that I need to explore probably with somebody, because I think I've even said it on this podcast before, but like I think there's aspects of like maybe the way that I grew up that caused me to like close up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like not express myself, and then I definitely learned later on that like manifests in different ways, and now I definitely am aware of it, in the sense that like as much as I can like speak like freely and like articulate on a lot of different topics, I feel like when it does come to like my own self and the way that I feel in specific moments, like I'm not able to communicate that very well. And so my like, that's probably what the whole rude boy like thing is that like my go-to is to just be kind of like yo, like get away from me type thing. Like that's like my go-to, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on that, because I definitely noticed that like there's times that I didn't want to come off that way, but I just had no other like tangible like release of like how to, you know, act, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. That's amazing, and I definitely think it would be beneficial to seek, just to try out. I will say though that there is not enough Black therapists. So I don't know if that's something that like you would, like I need a Black therapist.
Right, I think that would make a huge difference.
Yeah, so having like the resources, there's more and more coming. I found one that I love. But like having that be more accessible to people, and like I think it would be beneficial, and just having you talk about it on your podcast and stuff. I think this is a really great thing.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, you should totally seek it out. Why not?
Yo,
right?
imagine if I did an episode talking to a therapist. That'd be silly. That'd be lit.
Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah.
And I want you to meet Peter at some point, Peter, my partner, because I think you guys will get along really well. And through his schooling and stuff, I think that he's learned a lot about these kind of resources and stuff like that. So I think you guys will get along, and I think this would be a great men's therapy session. Would be so cool.
For sure. No, that's
right?
super dope. Talk to him. Maybe we could get him on the podcast too.
Word.
And I'm obviously doing content and stuff like that. So if you guys, let's link up. Let's shoot some stuff. Let's just collaborate.
Yeah, let's.
And then you also, you're also a creative mind too. So that's something that I want to, just collaborate with more people in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about putting together a magazine, low key, right? So having some creative minds. Yeah.
Yes, that is so cool. Rude magazine.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Like a rudography magazine.
I'm picturing it. Yes.
You know what I mean? Just why not? And especially because it's just magazines now, I can totally see this. The magazine is about to be the sort of the vinyl record in the sense that it's not even so much about you consuming it that way, but it's just about it being a nostalgic art piece.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's not even relevant, but it's just relevant in terms of appreciating it.
Completely a physical thing.
Exactly.
That is so cool. I support that 1,000%. Let me know how I can help. I want to be involved for sure. It's so cool.
Okay, dope.
Yeah,
dope.
Good for you. Good for you.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
So I guess we'll end it off on that, and for everybody out there, stay tuned. I guess we're gonna be doing a magazine, so it's just see what happens, right?
I love this world. Yeah.
That's what's
perfect.
up.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for sitting down with me, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk soon.
Okay, cool. Peace out.
Last week you hit me up. You said it'd be the last time you